Dana Lynn Thompson, and this is Surviving Everyday Stress with or Without IBS. This is my co-host Baxter, and today we are going to talk about the number one thing that I have done that has helped the most with my irritable bowel syndrome. So if you watched my first two videos, you know that I have suffered from irritable bowel syndrome for about 6 years and from general anxiety for probably longer than that, and that my irritable bowel syndrome was brought on by a particularly stressful 18-month stint working full-time and getting my Master of Arts in Leadership degree. So when I first got IBS, I did some research and I was pretty sure that that's what I had. I had all the symptoms. I had cramping. I had painful hours spent in the bathroom with diarrhea. I had bloating, and I knew that every single time I got stressed out, sometimes it didn't have to be anything big. It could be something small that not right away, but usually about two days later, I would end up in the bathroom, missing a day of work, in miserable pain. So I made an appointment with a gastroenterologist, and before I did that, I had done a bunch of research on irritable bowel syndrome online and realized that if I changed my diet, I could probably help with the symptoms a bit. So I had changed my diet. I had stopped drinking soda for about 2 weeks when I went to the gastroenterologist, and by then my symptoms were pretty mild. So I basically just talked to them, and they did tell me that they thought I had irritable bowel syndrome and that what I was doing was working, and that if my symptoms worsened, that then I should call them back and we would do more tests. There's not really a test for irritable bowel syndrome. They basically go by what your symptoms are and then they try to treat it from there. So the only thing you can really do is have a colonoscopy, which really will just show if you have Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis or one of those other things. It doesn't really show irritable bowel syndrome per se, which I will talk about in a later video, that I have had a colonoscopy and I do have mild ulcerative colitis, but nothing that I can really do anything about right now. Thankfully, it's not that bad. So I left the gastroenterologist that day. I was pretty happy about how I had controlled it with my diet, but still, every time I got stressed out, I was having really major symptoms, bad cramping, and it was just miserable. So one day, I just happened to go to dinner with some friends and my husband, and we started talking. Somehow we got on the subject of anxiety, and she told me that her nephew was really suffering from anxiety, and that every morning for the past few years he had been going out to the back porch before work and smoking some pot so that he could calm his nerves before he went to work. This is not recommended, and I'm guessing that he didn't have drug tests where he worked, but this was what was enabling him to get through his day because he had really bad anxiety, worse than I probably have ever had. So then she told me what was really the groundbreaking thing was that when CBD oil came out and was starting to get popular, he switched from smoking actual pot to taking CBD oil in the morning and in the evening, the CBD oil with no THC. Some CBD oil does have small traces of THC in it, which I believe would probably still show up on a drug test, but I thought this was miraculous news, and at that point I was ready to try anything just to try to limit my symptoms, even if it was once a week instead of 3 or 4 times a week. That would have been a huge improvement for me. So I did go out and I purchased some CBD oil from the manufacturer that she recommended, and I have to tell you, after 2 weeks, it completely changed my life. I went from having 3 or 4 bad cramping bathroom episodes a week to 1 a month, maybe, and it was amazing. What I really realized was that it didn't help me deal with all of the stress. I still had stress. I still sometimes felt in my chest like I had anxiety, and I still struggled with the bigger stresses at work and in life. But what this did was it really just kind of evened everything out. So the smaller things didn't bother me as much. I felt like I could handle the everyday stress a lot better, and most importantly, my symptoms almost completely went away. So I do get my CBD oil from HEMPWORX, and that is the company that my friend recommended. And there are a few things about HEMPWORX that I really like. You can get the full spectrum, which has 0.3% THC, or you can get what I get, which is the broad spectrum that comes without the THC, and you can order it online and you can have it auto shipped to your house, so it comes once a month and you don't have to go out to the store. It comes in this really nice brown box right here that says My Daily Choice on it, so your mail carrier, if you don't want your mail carrier to know that you're using CBD oil, it comes in this nice unmarked box. And when you get it, it'll come in also in a smaller box. I use the 500 broad spectrum CBD oil, and I like the peppermint. It comes in a whole bunch of flavors. It comes in natural, cinnamon, peppermint, strawberry guava, watermelon mint, lemon lime, and sunshine orange. So this is what the bottle looks like. I get the 500, but it also comes in 750 and 1500 milligram. I started out basically with just 5 drops in the morning underneath my tongue and 5 drops at night. And then after a week, I increased that to 10 drops in the morning and 10 drops at night under your tongue. And they recommend you just hold it there for about 60 seconds and then swallow. And I also recommend maybe not eating or drinking for about 10 to 15 minutes after that, just to make sure that everything's been absorbed. So I'm gonna put some links in the description below to the HEMPWORX website where you can purchase the CBD oil, but also they have a really extensive frequently asked questions page that talks about safety, talks about drug testing, talks about the health benefits, how they farm, how they manufacture, everything that goes into their CBD oil, which is a really interesting read. I'll put a link in the description below for that. Also, just a couple other things I really love about this company is that all of the hemp is from American farms. They have really rigorous lab testing at every level. There's no GMOs, there's no synthetics, there's no fillers, and they use the highest quality carrier oils. And if you do some research on CBD, which I hope you will, I have read some articles where they have talked about some companies that have used carrier oils for the CBD that are really not good for you, so ingesting them over a long period of time is not good for your health. So if you do decide to use CBD, try to make sure that it's from a reputable source. I have used the CBD oil from my local health food store. So far it's been pretty good, but I actually prefer the HEMPWORX because I couldn't get a flavor, couldn't get the peppermint, and also they didn't have an expiration date and they didn't have a tracking number on the side of their CBD oil. I can show you here on the HEMPWORX bottle that they do have a lot number and an expiration date on the bottle, which I really like because that way if they have an issue with one of the lots, they can let you know. That's something that I think would be really important. So I really hope you'll try CBD oil just to see if it works for you. I've recommended it to a lot of people, and the majority of people that have tried it, it's really helped them a lot. I have even recommended it to my friends who have pets with anxiety. There's CBD oil for pets and pet treats, and it's really worked well for them too. So I'm really excited to hear from all of you, to hear if any of you have tried CBD oil and if it has helped with your irritable bowel syndrome and your anxiety like it's helped me. So please leave me a comment below, and if you're interested in next week's video, please subscribe to my channel. And next week I'm going to tell you the 3 things that my gastroenterologist told me to cut out of my diet immediately when I had a really bad, absolutely the worst ever IBS episode I've had in 6 years. It happened in March of 2020, right after the COVID lockdown. My husband's entire job disappeared and it was stressful, as you can imagine. So I will let you know what those 3 things are next week. And as always, if you can see my shirt, saving a life could change yours. So adopt, don't shop. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day. Bye.